Happy Monday, everybody. It is Monday, January 27th, the last Monday of January 2025. Somehow, January just disappeared on us. There's been a lot happening, especially if you are based in the US. There's a lot happening all over the world, but January has been a very busy month for many of us. Wow. I am excited though. If this is your first time coming and joining us tonight, this is SideKick Power Hour, and I'm your host, Joshua R. Pangborn. I am the creator and founder of SideKick Productions, and we do a lot of queer, fat positive, sex positive film, television, now books. So everything we do a little bit of everything, and we have a good time doing it. And Sidekick Power Hour is a chance for us to meet and celebrate people in the community, allies, other queer artists, other fat artists, our artists who are doing things to make the world a little bit better and have a good time doing it. And that's why we come here on Sidekick Power Hour to have a good time on Monday nights. Monday nights can be hard, and that's why we are here to make them a little bit easier. Don't forget, for anyone who is a follower of us, we are still raising funds for our next movie. We are going to be making our queer gothic erotic horror film, The Contract. So if you would like to help us make The Contract, go to thecontractfilm.com right now. You can get some amazing merch, including books, Blu-rays. You could even become a producer on the movie, and all of those things I think are pretty cool. So if you want to help make a gothic erotic horror film come to life, well, this is your chance. Go to thecontractfilm.com. But more importantly, we're going to turn to our special guest for tonight. They are technically in the future because they are in Australia. So I am going to bring them on and welcome them. Everyone, please welcome Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
Hello. Yes, you were talking about Monday night, and I'm like, but it's Tuesday morning.
It's like Tuesday morning for you, but for us in the East Coast of the United States, it's Monday night, just
Yes.
after dinner time usually. So, Wayne, I think you are the second Australian person I've had on the show.
What? There was someone before me?
There was one person before you, yes. I don't know if I know Australia is a very tiny country, and you all know each other. Have you ever met someone named Trevor Ashley?
I have interviewed him on my radio show. There you go.
Well, there we go. 6 degrees of Wayne Tunks that we already knew each other. So, and then also, Trevor was in a web series that was basically in the circuit this last year alongside our shows. So,
Yes. It went very, very well. Yeah, very, very talented gentleman. You know what? I will accept Trevor Ashley being number one and me coming
but
in second.
after Trevor, it was you. I was like, I can't have another Australian without having Wayne on the show. So
Thank you. Thank you.
that's there we go. So Wayne, why don't you introduce yourself briefly for our audience and tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Wayne Tunks. I turned 50 this year. I'm a Cancerian. I don't like walks on the beach. I do like a good espresso martini. Single, ready to mingle. Oh no, that's the wrong group. No, I am a filmmaker. I'm an actor, writer, director, producer. You know what so many of us in the industry are. We do it all. I'm an author. I'm an acting teacher, and I'm a radio announcer.
Wayne is basically the taller Australian version of me, I think, in many ways, because we basically wear all the same hats on our wonderfully fabulous heads.
That's
So
exactly right. Except I drink and you don't. So
that's true.
yeah.
That well, because you have to, because again, being Australian, it's part of your life.
Yes, if you don't drink, they come to your house and they check. Yeah,
They find out what's wrong with you, what's going
that's
on.
right.
Wayne and I met a few years back at the New Jersey Web Fest, which everyone has heard me talk about a million times on this show because it is sort of like the home festival for me. I don't know how I don't know if you would call it that for you since it's a very long way from home, but
No, I still call it my home festival as well. It's the festival I've been to the most, and it's the festival I love, and it's the festival where I feel most embraced and welcome. So even though I am from Australia, I still say that New Jersey Web Fest is my home festival.
we have to cut this clip out and send it to Neem, by the way, too, so that way we can both make sure that he's aware of that. So
Oh, he knows.
um,
I tell him all the time. He knows. Yeah.
so Wayne did, I think the first show that I remember you doing was after midnight. Is that right?
After Nightfall.
After Nightfall, yes. We had. I don't think we actually met that year, but I kept hearing your name. And I kept hearing about After Nightfall from other people in the circuit that day, that weekend. So, and what was After Nightfall about?
So After Nightfall was set in a small Australian country town, and an 18-year-old young gay man was murdered. And it was all about finding out who had killed him. And so I was the writer director, and I played his father, and I was one of only two people who was able to see his ghost. So there was little bits of supernatural element in there as well, and there was a lot of gay themed things as well. Like one of his ex-boyfriend had been taken to a gay conversion camp in the first episode. So it was very gay focused, but at the same time was this big murder mystery and with an element of supernatural. And we did 2 seasons of it and did very, very well. I had a great time shooting that. And it's kind of what was my big introduction into the web series world, because, I'd heard all about it before, but it wasn't until I got in there and started going to festivals that I went, this is where I belong. There's my people.
Mm-hmm. What? Yeah, because it's something about web series festivals that's very different than any other festival I think I've been to. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been to I've been to film festivals around the world, and they just
Yeah.
don't feel as good as a web festival. Web festival people embrace you
Mhm.
straight away, and you make so many lifelong friends.
I completely agree. I mean, I started doing different festivals with the feature films that I've done this past year, and it's just it's a very different experience when you go, and uh, I love it. I kind of look forward to every year because well, that's the thing I'm most excited for this year is September. So but
Yeah, and and sure, the awards and all of that stuff are fantastic, but
yes.
part of it is just and I hate using the word networking, because I don't even feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm just making friends and hanging out together, and yeah, sure, we chat film and we chat all that kind of stuff, but we are just getting to know each other as people and having a great time. Like, the workshops are great, the screenings are great, but my favorite part is the after parties where we get to hang out and just have a really good time.
No, and this year I really embraced them this year, and I think I noticed a huge difference in my experience at the New Jersey Web Fest last year because I stayed out later. I did the parties more, you have to do that. I think when you go to these kinds of festivals, because if you don't, it's kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
You should embrace the chance to meet people and everything. So
Exactly. You and I shut them down every night.
we
We
did,
were
yes.
the last ones there, and did get to chat to so many people. We had so much fun just meeting people from all over the world, from all over the US, and just really connecting and having a great time together.
And I mean, you never know when that kind of thing leads to something, a project or something, because we are actually producing a project together.
Good segue. Good segue.
That's what I do. Why don't you since this project is based on your idea, so why don't you just mention about it?
Okay, well, 2 years ago when I was in the US, I'd just been to New Jersey Web Fest, and then I was in New York, and I went and stayed with our mutual mate, Laura, up on Croton on Hudson. And I was meant to fly to Cleveland to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there was a massive storm in New York, which was like 3 months worth of rain in a day. LaGuardia Airport that I was meant to fly out from was underwater. So I got stuck at Laura's house, and we managed to get me a flight very early the next morning in Connecticut. And Laura, being the absolute darling that she is, agreed to drive me to Connecticut at 3:30 in the morning. So we're driving, and just as we're about to get into Connecticut, there was a moose on a highway. And yeah, we didn't almost crash into it, but if I'm being dramatic, I'm saying we almost crashed into that moose. But it was the biggest thing I've ever seen. It was incredible. So we were telling everybody about it the next year on the opening night of the New Jersey Web Fest, and I don't know, it suddenly became, why don't we make a podcast called Moose on a Highway about some people who were trying to get a flight in Connecticut, and that's how the idea was born, and we record it on the weekends.
Yeah, we are recording the first 3 episodes this Friday night, or Saturday morning if you are in Australia.
Which only one cast member is, yes, yeah.
But I think it's so cool. It's it was never, it was something I just never anticipated happening, but it only happens because you put yourself out there and work and meet people, but again, also because everyone embraces one another so much, and they're like, oh, let's just have a good time together.
Yeah, and it really was, and it was just from people there on the opening night, and it was the people who were there right till the very end who were chatting about it, and it was all of those people that were there are either part of the production team or are acting in it as well. Like one of our people, Tom, who is an absolute icon of the web series world, he joked at our first cast read that the reason he got the role is because he was standing next to me when we were pitching the idea, and that's how I was like, oh, I'm going to cast Tom, and I was like, that's not true, but also true at the same time. Yeah.
The big part of being cast is just being there sometimes.
Yes, when when you go to a festival, this is a big tip for anyone who is just starting out. When you go to a festival, go to all social things as well. And I know for so many filmmakers, you get social anxiety, but at the end of the day, it is the best thing to do, and it's how you will meet so many different people. And I, over the years, have met so many great people because I've gone to events who I've ended up working with or been friends with, or a combination of both.
It's really hard for me. I'm one of those people that gets a little social anxiety because I'm not good at talking to people and initiating a conversation. But you make it look so easy when you're in the room. You just naturally effuse social I don't know the right word. You effuse it though. You effuse the wonderfulness to come and just chat with people. And
I do enjoy, you know what? I am one of these introverted extroverts. Like, I get my own energy from me, and I could easily spend a week alone in my house working and writing, doing whatever. But then I also really enjoy being out, and I
yeah,
love talking to people, and I enjoy meeting new people. And people like my not like everyone, but I like meeting like-minded people, and it's just one of the exciting things about travel. And if you're like me and you like traveling alone, you need to be able to talk to people, because otherwise it does get a little bit lonely. So that's what part of the thing is. I'll turn up to an event alone, and I'll walk out there with all these new friends.
it's a really it's a wonderful skill to have, and it's a in some ways I used you as a role model for other festivals I went to after I saw how wonderfully you just sort of slid around the entertainment and everything, because I was like, oh, well, if I have to be more like Wayne is what I said. I have to do that.
Oh,
So.
thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Hi, Jimmy, welcome. How it's
Hey,
good to
Jim.
see you. Um, so I know. I think it's okay to say that you are a queer filmmaker. Is that safe to say? I think.
Yeah, no. That was acting. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Definitely. No. I think very, very, yeah, very, very much. Since I started writing plays in the year 2000, I've always had to include gay storylines. It's just something that always has to be in my work. So
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to say because obviously you've seen my stuff. My stuff is very very queer. But do you feel obligated, or like you have to put something in there that reflects your identity in some way, shape, or form?
I don't think obligated's the word I would say. I just feel like it is such a part of my life and who I am that I like to include it. And a lot of people say that I have included it quite seamlessly into work, which I think is how it should be. That's what
Mhm.
I'm interested in doing, because when I'm in a social situation, for me, my gayness is just a part of who I am. I don't think that means that I'm different from those people in the room. I'm
Mhm.
I'm just a gay guy, and I want to put that in my work as well.
Although sometimes, depending on who we're around in New Jersey, they remind us. But
Yeah, and then that's like when you pick your targets,
yeah.
So and that's it's a really interesting thing. I think I turned 50 this year, and I think when I first came out of the closet, which was the mid 90s, things weren't as easy. I was picked on at school quite badly. I went to quite a rough school in Sydney's West. Um, I was always the very obvious gay kid. And, it was really, really hard. And then I think things started getting better, but now the world's turning ugly again. And, and maybe it's because we came so far, but now, people want to drag us down, and it's,
Mm.
it hasn't been this important for a very long time to create our work, create our own identity, show who we are, and unapologetically be who we are.
I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day because I feel like now more than ever it's more important to be doing the things that we're doing and putting it out there and not being afraid to do it because things are just really weird right now and I like things were I think we got too complacent. I don't know, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, and I see that online, and I see a lot of young gay people, and I'm not gonna be upset at them because they're living their truth, but they haven't seen what the oppression that many gay people had faced.
Mhm.
There's a reason why the generation before mine of gay people, why there aren't so many
Yep.
people. You know, a whole generation was decimated. Um, and so I guess a lot of young people don't quite understand what gay people have gone or queer people have gone through.
Yeah.
And I hate that the way that they're starting to learn now is because of the bigotry and that laws are going to change to hurt gay people. And unfortunately your country is the one that's leading the way, and then it's dribbling down to the rest of the world as well, because I know that there are idiots in my country who
Mhm.
just want to echo what's said in the US, and if it works there, they think that it's going to work here as well, and that scares me, and it scares me for the next generation. Like, I have a wonderful young trans student in my acting class, Zoe. I've been teaching for a number of years, and like, for her, she's 17, and I worry what's going to happen for her in the future, because people want to change laws and people just want to hate somebody because they don't understand, and that just makes me angry.
It's been a very, very hard week in the US, and I'm sure that you for better or worse, I'm sure you all hear about it, over there because you have we're very loud, unfortunately. And it's yeah, especially for trans people, it's been a very, very difficult week, with all the things that have been happening. But all aspects of the queer community have really been, I think, shocked by especially how this week has been going. I mean, states have been introducing laws to get rid of gay marriage, and then if that happens, it would get rid of it for the whole country, and it's just it seems like so strange that we just got it and now it's possibly going away. So it's very bizarre, but
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think, well, we're suddenly getting really political here. But when I see that they were like gays for Trump, I just want to slap those people in the face. I just want to find them and slap them and say, "What are you doing? Like, why are you voting against your own self-interests?"
it doesn't make any sense for me at all. I yeah, it's I have luckily I can say that I really don't have people in my life who are like that, who have done it, but I have people who I was surprised to see I was connected to on Facebook, and I'm like, oh well, this is bizarre. Unfriend, but
And
it
you need to, because you don't need that in your life.
no,
You do not need that negativity. I've cut people off, like blocked them on Facebook because of transphobia. And
yeah.
people have contacted me and said, "Why did you do that?" And I was like, "Because you made a transphobic joke, and I don't accept that. And people I know and love are trans, and I will not accept that in my day to day life." So
Or gay
move on
people
with
who are
yours.
against trans people, gay transphobes. I don't understand that at
Like, just
all.
because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it isn't true. I don't understand brain surgery, but I know it exists. You
Yes,
know?
it's so ridiculous, and yeah,
Yeah.
I I know we've turned very heavy all of a sudden, but it's I was just gonna thought we were gonna come in here and talk about Drag Race, and instead we turned into this
I'm
sort of
happy to talk Drag Race as well. But Drag Race inherently is political as well. So,
it is.
yeah.
I think it will be the next 4 years even more so. I think that I think it'll go in that direction. Well, maybe it will. I don't really know how it will go. Are
Yeah.
you watching the American Drag Race this year?
I have pretty much seen every season of Drag Race that has ever existed.
Of every country?
Yes.
Wow,
There's a couple that,
you
because they took them off our Australian streaming service, so I had to recently get Wow Presents Plus. So I'm
uh
catching up on a couple, So I'm midway through the last season of France, and I've got to catch up on the most recent season of Mexico,
Hmm.
and then I'll be completely up to date.
Well, I have to say that because you and I talked about Down Under when you were there in New Jersey, and this was my favorite season of Down Under. I really loved it.
Second favorite for me. Season 2, like that top 3 of season 2 was just
That was a
so
good top three. I
incredible.
really did like that. That was Spanky's year, right?
That was Spanky, yep, yeah, and then Queen and Hannah as
Yeah.
well. So, and then if you
I
look, Queen and Hannah went on to do so well on international seasons.
They
So,
did, yes. But I really loved Michelle as the host. I really did. I thought that
yeah,
she was a good host, and the cast was really good. I really loved the winner this year. I am completely blanking on Lazy Susan. There
Lazy
we go.
Susan, the obvious, like, and that's not taking away from any other queens, but Lazy Susan was the obvious winner from the very start, just because she combined both the fashion and the comedy. And sure, her dancing wasn't as good, but she found a way around that. And yeah, it was so good. And yeah, and Michelle was a great host. And I think Rue's good, but I just think Rue wants the comedy the way that he wants it, whereas Michelle
Yeah,
was ready to embrace a bit more of the Australianism,
yeah,
and I think that worked. And I think the problem with Down Under before is that they were trying to make a drag race for the whole world. They just need to be unapologetically Australian and Kiwi. They need to be unapologetically our humor, and then people will like people love Kath and Kim for a reason. You know,
yep.
people like our humor, so be unapologetically Australian, and people will like it.
And you said that to me in New Jersey, and that really made me rethink all of the franchises, really, because I realized because you said that Drag Race was trying to make American drag. They were trying to make the local drag queens into American drag queens, and I thought, oh well, that makes total sense when you say it that way, because
Yeah.
that's why it's maybe not working so well for some of these other franchises, because they have their own style, their own presentation, and their own way of doing drag, and their own humor and everything, and
Yeah,
it just made a lot of sense.
yeah, that's why the Philippine seasons work so well, because it is so unapologetically Filipino.
Yes,
Because they have such a strong voice in their drag scene that it just translates into the series as well.
yes, I think so. I think very much so. So are you enjoying this American season then?
Yeah, you've got to love you do have to always love the American seasons. It's the
They're
original for
very
a
messy
reason.
sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, and I do, and I love it. I don't. The thing that I don't like about Drag Race now is, I'm one of those people who's chronically online, and I just hate Drag Race fans online, and it's like, just sometimes they ruin it for people, and then like they all collectively choose a queen, and whether she's good or bad, they're going to try to push it to the end. And
Yep.
it's like, I don't think that person deserves the praise and love that you're giving this person. And I'm not going to say who it is this season, but there is somebody who does not deserve the fans' praise and love.
I think I know who you're talking about, because I'm also chronically online, unfortunately, at times. So
Yeah,
yes, I've seen it. So I've seen the love, and I'm not getting it. So,
yeah.
but we did have a fabulous quilted runway this time, with even a bed on the runway. So
And that's the stuff that we need. So many people want queens like Joella, like, not on the show. But just the longer that somebody like that is on the show, the better the show is. Like, you
yes,
just need people like that. Like, literally, you couldn't not watch her and be engaged by what she was doing. Sure, she would make you angry, but that's part of the reason that you want to watch this reality content. You don't like those seasons where everyone's kumbaya and holding each other's hands. They're boring.
those are not the best seasons. They are not.
No, it's not RuPaul's best friend race.
Exactly, exactly. But it's been a very interesting uh season of drag the past year. Really, there's been a lot of really good queens that have been on all of the franchises, really. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely. You always get some good queens, and I think, yes, it's as long as the show keeps evolving, I think it's going to stick around for a very long time.
and I think again it's going to be very very relevant the next 4 years. I think that they're going to really, because Rue is very good at that. Rue is very good at bringing in politics, and trying to do something with that, and make it matter in some ways, because again drag is very political, drag is very social, drag is very much a big part of our community's history. So
Yeah, and drag has always been around and always will be.
Just as trans people and all queer people have been always around and always will be. But
Mhm.
you can try to legislate us away, but we're not going anywhere.
Nope, exactly.
We'll just go. Not the pun is not intended, but we'll just go down under. And
That's what she
uh,
said. Like,
yes. But so you are. You mentioned having a trans student, so you're a teacher as well, then.
yes, yes. So I've been teaching acting for a good 20 years now. I used to do it full time. Now I just teach one evening or afternoon evening a week. I still have 3 classes. So the project that I had on the circuit this past year, was a web series I made with my students. So yeah, been teaching acting and really enjoy it. Yeah.
And that's amazing that you were able to do the series with your students. How much how much did you do of the series versus how much they were involved in with it?
I pretty much did everything. Often when we do other projects, they're heavily involved in it. But this, I was like, if you guys want to be involved in a professional series, you are going to come to it as actors. So I wrote the roles. Then they, in theory, we were going to audition for roles, but in class they ended up just negotiating who was going to get what, which I let happen. And so then they just turned up on set and were working with professional actors and professional crew. And I still, in the process of doing it, was still being the acting teacher. I was
Yeah.
really picking on them because I was saying to them, it's really important that you need to know every single person's name. So
Mhm.
I would just say to one of the students, I would say, so what's that person's name who's holding the boom mic? And yeah, like, it was because you need to know their name. So that was one of just the small lessons that I was doing with them all the time, and just making sure that they were fully professional actors when they were on that set. They weren't just students; they were proper actors. So if they were doing the wrong thing, they learnt as proper actors what not to do, and then they got praised as proper actors as well.
I love that though because we never had that opportunity, and when I was because I went to college and theater was one of the things that I focused on, but you didn't really get that professionalism side of it. You like yes, you did projects and all, but you didn't get to know those that because that's the important thing on set. That's what you have to do. You have to know how to behave on set. And now that I've been on sets, I'm like I just feel so far behind because I never had that kind of lesson in school. And I think these actors, these students of yours, will really realize it when they get out into the world and start performing how much you prepared them.
Yeah, I hope so. And that's what I want. I want a prepared actor because I've always said to my students, I want if my name is on your resume as your acting coach, I need you to go out there and be a professional actor because you're embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing me. So go out there, and I want people to know that if you were trained by me, that you're going to be a professional actor.
I think that's very very smart on your part as well. So so you can have your name and have it mean something. So
Yeah, hey, that's what we all want as performers, isn't it? We want our name out there.
so this show was Poison that you're
Poison,
talking
yes.
about. And Poison did really well in the web circuit. I think you were in the top 30 or top.
Oh, yeah, we came 21st, and in Australasia we were number 3, which was
Very
which was
nice.
pretty amazing for a series that was shot for like $5,000 and literally shot over 3 days.
And how many episodes was it?
There was just 4, so 4
4
5-minute
episodes.
episodes. So it was
That's
quite quick because we knew we had to shoot it quite quick. So
yeah.
4 5-minute episodes, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. No, congratulations. I saw it ended up pretty high, and I was like, "Oh, this is exciting. Good job, Wayne and students." So,
Yes. Yeah, we didn't start well. We got a couple of early rejections, and I thought, oh, here we go. And then suddenly by the end of the year, it got a momentum going, and that's sometimes all you need is momentum.
I learned after this time around with Brooklyn Butcher that I'm just gonna get the same rejections from every festival that because with Skeleton Crew and Demon Doctor, I was getting rejections. I thought, well, maybe I need a new project, so I sent out a new project, and I still got the same rejections from those festivals. I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna bother with those festivals anymore then.
Yeah, there was a big festival that I was chatting to another festival director about. He said, "Oh, that's coming up, but you're in that." And I said, "I didn't actually apply." And he looked quite shocked. And I said, "They don't accept me. Clearly, they don't like my work, and I'm just not going to waste because it's a lot of money. I'm not going to
It
waste my money."
is. I don't think
applying for
people
a
know
festival.
how much it costs to submit to festivals, but even if you
Yeah.
get the early because festivals will have a different price depending on when you're submitting. And if you get closer to the date of the festival, obviously it's more expensive. But even if you submit at the very, very initial early bird deadline, it is expensive still.
Yeah, yeah, I did, and I had to do a couple of late deadlines with the podcast project I'm working on at the moment, and I just did those yesterday, and I felt a lot thinner after giving all that money.
I can sympathize with that greatly.
Yeah.
This year I was because this year I'm making a movie, so I'm focusing on my feature. So most of the festival money that I would have spent is pretty much going into the feature film. So I'm really just doing New Jersey and maybe one or two others. So fingers crossed I get into New Jersey. Because
Yes, because I'm going this year. I'm going as long as the US stays stable enough. I'm going.
we should be stable still by September, but after, I can't promise for next year. I don't know
Okay,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah.
to happen.
I'll go out with a bang this year. Yeah.
But no, I mean, so I saw the pilot for Poison, which was really fabulous and so much fun. Is it playing anywhere that people can watch it?
Yes, so it is on YouTube. So if you look up Poison, Poison is quite a common name, so you might need to put my name in there as well, or just put Poison and Tunks, and it should pop up. So yeah, so it's a 4-part web series, and yeah, it's a murder mystery. I get killed in the first episode, and it's about who murdered their teacher.
Spoilers.
Spoiler. It's about the whole thing's about, because if you see the poster, it says who killed their teacher. I'm the teacher. So yeah, one of the students killed me.
Those dastardly students. But
Can't trust those
um,
Aussies.
and you're working on a new web series now too, aren't you?
Yes, River Tap That, which we just set our filming, had a production meeting on the weekend, and we're shooting it in late March, early April. So hopefully I will have it ready still for New Jersey, which would be lovely. So, but it won the pitch competition in New Jersey, so which was really good motivation for me to get the series made now. So
It was a super fun idea. Well, my favorite thing that you've done that I've watched, and I've watched several other things now. My favorite thing was the Over Caterers, Anonymous,
yes,
which this reminded me as like a sort of the same world kind of thing. So uh,
yes, same actors, same types of characters, zany Australians doing a mockumentary about something that's absolutely ridiculous. So yes, this is about two opposing dance crews who have created a new dance style called River Tap That, which incorporates Irish dancing, tap dancing, and break dancing, and none of them are professional dancers. So I'm the leader of one of the crews. So if you look at me, clearly I am not a dancer. So
I saw you dance in New Jersey. I know you can do it. So
I can move, I just can't dance. Enough champagne, and I will. Hey, Madonna also came on when we were in that pub, so
and
I
that
will
changes
always dance.
everything. So
She's my queen.
although Australians are very famous for breakdancing now, so
Apparently, I think we're trying to forget her. You guys are like, yeah, we love her. Australia's like, we are so embarrassed. She's
I mean,
turned into
she
a
only
villain in Australia. Actually, she has become a big villain in Australia.
really.
She sued. Somebody had a Ray Gun the musical, which they tried to put on, and she sued them to stop it going on.
Well,
And then she was also trying to sue them for legal expenses after they got rid of the show.
oh well,
So
I
she's
can.
become this villain. She was going to be on this season of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and there was such a public outcry. I don't think she's going on there now because people just hate her in Australia. I know that's people in the US love her or whatever, but in Australia we hate her now.
Well, I mean, she did basically destroy the entire Olympic sport of breakdancing and take it away. So,
Single-handedly, yep.
so yes. But no, I'm really, really excited to see the your new web series. But Over Caterers Anonymous was so much fun. You're also, I think, in many ways we should look at you as the Christopher Guest of Australia. You
I'll take it.
you have all these mockumentaries that you do, and you work with a lot of the same people. So, yeah, I think we should bill you as that as well. So,
Thank you. It's really interesting. When I first started out, I was like, because obviously when you're young, you watch a lot of film, and I was like, why do these directors keep working with the same actors over and over again? Wouldn't you want to work with new ones? And then I started working in the industry, and I went, I know now know why you work with the same actors over and over again.
Yep. I always wanted to work with the same like repertoire of people
Yeah.
and have that sort of like ability because I just wanted I knew it would be easier. I was like once I get to know somebody, I can write for them. I can work with them. I know their idiosyncrasies. I don't have to because actors are special people. And sometimes they're very special. So
Yes, special. That's the good word. No, and I really love that pushing an actor's limits as well. There are certain actors that I just keep pushing their limits all the time, and they just keep responding and getting bigger and better in the
yeah,
work. So I really enjoy that, and that's I love creating new characters, people. So if anybody watches any of my work, like Overcater is Anonymous, they will see the same actors in River Tap That, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with it.
that's exciting. Are you just doing a pilot or are you trying to make a full series?
No, we're doing 4 10-minute episodes.
Fun. Okay.
I was going to do 5, and then I started writing episode 4, and I just realized episode 4 was superfluous. So I was like, just cut it, get to the cream. Episode 4 is the competition, and yeah, so 4 episodes.
That's exciting. I know that Canada and I've talked about this on the show before. Canada and South Korea are really supportive of the web series circuit and the people who make independent art. Does Australia have like a lot of financial support from the government for independent artists?
If you know the right people.
Oh, so it's one of
There
those.
is funding out there, but you have to know the right people and be in the right cliques. And I am not in those cliques. I've never been. I grew up in the wrong area of Sydney. I'm not friends with the right people. So there are certain people who will get continual funding over and over again, and then there are people who won't.
But that's yes, that's very unfortunate. Then, in the U.S., we have no funding for anybody, so we don't
Yeah.
believe in funding the arts in the United States. So, how dare we have any art?
You don't believe in
Uh,
healthcare, so it's fine.
we don't have art or healthcare, none of that. But we have guns, lots of them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it all works out in the end that way. So
Yeah. Yeah. We at least we have universal healthcare down here. So yeah.
it's true. It's true. I might take that over. Well, I would still want funding for the arts, but I would definitely take that over guns. So,
Yeah.
alas.
Alas, yes.
How big are the Oscars in Australia? Do you all care about that very much?
I think that we used to a lot more than we do now, but I just think that's inherently the Oscars. I feel like because I saw somebody else post about it recently. Like for the first part in ages, I've only seen 2 of the films, and I'm not planning on seeing any of the other films before. I don't know. I just feel like it's lost a lot of its buzz over the years. I used to go to I used to host Oscar parties, and I don't know. I just don't care as much anymore.
It's yeah. I mean, it's something
Don't
about
ask
it
them to
is a
say
little
their
different.
opinion. Sorry, I'm just going to be brutally honest today.
No, we encourage honesty on Psychic Power Hour. It's important to be frank and honest with our audience and with one another. So, no, I'm similar. I mean, I'll watch them, of course. Because I have to. It's part of my gay card. But it's it's a little bit different than it used to be. I think I don't like have the same reaction that I used to have with it. So
Yeah, and if you think about like the theater of it all years ago, like they're not even going to have the best original songs performed this
I
year,
know I
and
heard that and I was like, but you've got Elton John nominated. So
some of the best performances of all time come from those live performances. I mentioned Madonna before. I'm a big Madonna fan. Like when she performed Sooner or Later from Dick Tracy at the Oscars, and Michael Jackson was her date, like that's just an iconic moment in pop
yeah.
history.
Or Gaga and Bradley Cooper when they did the Shallow. That was
Yes.
that was sex on stage for the Oscars. But
We're showing our age differences there.
we are a little bit. Well, we're not that much different in age. So it's just I kept the beard off so I look younger. That's all. That's just what it is. So
I was doing that, and then I've just embraced it. Now, I'm like, turning 50. I'm just going to embrace the silver beard.
yeah, You're gonna have your Zaddy status, and yeah.
There you go. Well, no, I'm just actually I'm moving into granddad territory. So one of my students recently, I wore like shorts and like slip-on shoes to class, and she goes, "You look like a granddad," and I was like, "Get out of my no!" I did. I was like, "Thanks."
You're fired. Get out of this class.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to, I mean, you would have to wear shorts and shoes like that in the weather. You were telling me about how hot it is there, so
Yes, yeah. Today it's going to be, for your point of view. What did I say? It was 104,
it's at
105.
104 degrees
There
Fahrenheit.
you go. That's what we're
That
looking at today.
we never get to. I mean, in New York, New York will. It's a bad summer when we break 100 degrees Fahrenheit in New York. But is it a dry heat or is it
Where
very
Sydney's
humid?
very humid. Sydney's
So
very humid.
that's
So
awful then. 104 degrees and humid. I don't know how you haven't moved yet.
well, I'm sitting underneath the air conditioning. So that's what I said to you when we come in. I said, I've got the air conditioning on. I hope it's not going to affect sound because I'm not turning it off for you.
No, you shouldn't. You would melt. We would see you just melt on screen.
Yes, yeah. And I'm a sweater. You know, I'm a big boy. I'm a sweater. Yeah.
So that would be very, very challenging. But um, what have you done anything that what have you acted in that's not yours? What are some projects that you've really enjoyed that you've made that you're just an actor in?
Yeah, I've done a few horror films. You know, I guess horror films really are a genre that indie has embraced quite well, and I really
Mhm.
love that. And you know all about that, Josh. So I've done a couple of really great horror films, but the one that I really enjoyed was one from my Melbourne mates, and we shot that. It was called Apparitions, and I got to fly down to Melbourne 3 different weekends, and we were shooting out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, it's this really great film about this girl who's graduating from university, and she's haunted by ghosts of her past. And her whole life, when somebody has wronged her, that person disappears from her life.
Ooh.
So it's like, is it the ghostly element in her life? Is she secretly some serial killer, or what is the reason? And she gets given the keys to her mother's old house. Her mother was murdered years beforehand. And after graduation, she goes to this house, and I play the caretaker at the house. So it's a really great horror film, and the location we shot in clearly was really haunted. It was quite scary. Myself and Perry, who was the director or co-director, co-writer, and she played the police officer, we were in the kitchen area together, and I'd finished shooting, and the makeup artist was coming to pick me up to take me back to the accommodation. And Perry and I were just in the kitchen while they were shooting at the other end of the house. And there were these 3 mysterious knocks on the door, and we were literally in the middle of the Victorian countryside. Like, when we opened the door, there was no one there. I was
That's
scared. Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I would love that.
So yes, Apparitions. You can check it out on. I think it's streaming on demand on a lot of places.
Australia does so many great horror movies, though. Australia is really known for horror in the U.S. We really love it. Probably my favorite Australian horror movie is The Loved Ones. Do you know that one?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I really adore that movie. Mostly because of that song that keeps repeating, but it's a really lovely song, a movie, and of course, I mean, The Babadook is
I see. I didn't like that.
it's not my favorite horror movie, but it is very, very well known in the US,
Yeah.
for being an Australian horror film.
Well, and he's somehow a gay icon.
Well, he is a gay icon now. He is the Babadook, and he is here to slay. So,
Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
but no, it's a lot of fun. I know, I think that New Zealand has some horror movies too that came over here. The only one I can think of off the top of my head though was Black Sheep, which was a horror movie about evil sheep. Uh,
Of course it is. Oh, New Zealand never change.
well, and then of course Peter. Oh, I'm sorry, Peter Jackson. I mean, he's got all his movies, of course. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and Peter Jackson's horror films are just amazing.
they are wonderfully demented, but no, I will have to check that out. I didn't know you did that movie, but I'm very excited to look for it now because it sounds delightful, and
Yeah,
I always need more horror in my life. So
check it out.
and yes, What else? So you also you've published 2 books, you said, I think, right?
Yes. I've got Normal or Nothing Like It, which is a series of short stories about people in their 40s. So there's humor, there's drama, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a collection of short stories which people have really enjoyed. And then I also wrote a young adults fiction as well called Electricity, which is about a group of students who were realized that if the right people connect, that they can conduct electricity with their hands. So yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then I have a third one which I'm looking to publish this year, which is actually a horror novel called The Silence Before, and it's all about a ghost that is haunting a house.
Fun. Do you self-publish or do you have a
I
publisher that
do.
you
I'm a
work with?
self-publisher. Yes. Yeah.
Which is fabulous because I'm also a self-publisher. So we know our work the best. So
Yeah. So either Normal or Nothing Like It or Electricity, you can order from all good bookstores.
wonderful. And you also work. Your day job is the radio, though.
That's right. I work for a radio station called My 88, which is an iHeart station. So you can listen to us anywhere in the world. So we play 80s music, and I'm the breakfast host. So I'm on from 7 till 10 every weekday in Australia. So that is in the US. That's, God, what is that? That is 3 to 6. Yeah, 3 to 6
I
p.m.
think so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's as you're getting ready to leave work for the day in New York, you can listen to Wayne on the radio.
I know our good mate Michael Leader often listens to me in the afternoon when he's driving home, and
Does
apparently
he?
has been doing an impersonation of me.
Oh,
So
I
you're listening to My 88 as he does it. He sounds like a bad Steve Irwin impersonator when he does it, but I love it.
most people when they try to do Australian do sound bad, Stephen Irwin impersonators. So, yes.
Yeah. I feel
uh,
like sometimes when I talk to Americans, I feel like I'm a bad Steve Irwin impersonator because when I hear my own accent with Americans, I just sound really Australian, and I have a pretty common Australian accent, though
mhm.
I speak well, but I have a common accent from where I am, so I just hear that when I travel. I'm like, oh, I just sound really common.
You to me you sound Australian, but there are times where I have Australians who I hear like in movies, and I always think they're British for some reason. So, is there an area of Australia where there's a regional accent is almost more of a British accent, or
Yeah, and because there's different types of there you go. My acting teacher's hat is on. So there are different types of accents. So I have a convict accent. So from where the convicts arrived in Australia,
of course,
that's
yes,
so
yes.
Sydney and Melbourne have convict accents, but depending on the part of Sydney or Melbourne you're from, is as well. Because I'm Western Sydney, which is the common area. You know the burbs, the working class. So mine's a very common accent. Adelaide has a free settler accent. So you will hear things like so I will say dance, whereas somebody from Adelaide will say dance.
There we go.
So
So
and
there,
also
that's right here, the British.
and another reason we're the laziest talkers in the world because we don't open our mouths. And that is because when they first arrived in Australia from England, flies would jump in their mouths. So as time went on, Australians stopped talking with their mouth open, which is why we are often hard to understand and impersonate because Americans open their mouth when they talk. Australians do not. We do not open the mouth much.
That is that's not an old wives' tale. That's an actual
No,
thing.
that is literally true.
That's fascinating. But that's an interesting reason to adapt and change. Oh, you just blew my mind here. I'm just amazed by this. So that's
Yeah. So
exciting.
for any actors who want to do the Australian accent, don't open your mouth. Because we're always taught with Americans that every single word you say is important. So we have to sound out each word. Whereas Australians, you need to run the whole thing together. And if you can shorten it, you will.
Well, it's true though. If you want to be American, you have to make every word matter and say every word as loudly as possible, as wide a mouth.
That's what we teach our kids doing American accents. Yeah.
It's very accurate, so you're not wrong. As an American, I can say that. So, but no, that's really great. You've got a couple, and then you just released a podcast, didn't you?
Yes, I've got a new, yes, besides Moose on a Highway, I've got Murder as Murder, which is a comedy takeoff of murder podcasts. So it's about a young university student who is doing a podcasting class, and her podcast is not going well. So she decides she needs to find a murder, and hears about a maintenance man dying at the local high school, and decides she's going to make a murder podcast about it. And it's all the craziness that revolves around that. So I'm the writer director, and I also play the school gardener / conspiracy theorist. So
Ooh.
which is a lot of fun. So yeah, playing someone who's absolutely crazy is great.
Who doesn't love that? Australia has a lot of podcasts out there for audio fiction. Because I know when I was listening to them for various festivals, there was a lot of them from Australia. It seems to be a really popular genre there, or maybe it's just happens to be because for whatever reason I just got a lot of them and I listened to them. But
Well, I think we're very heavily represented in the web series community as well. So I think because
you
there are
are
a
very
lot of
much.
independent filmmakers, and yes, there are other people who are receiving government funding, but there are a lot of people who are making independent web series and short film and podcasts. So pretty much we have this thing in Australia where we just say, and it is very web series related, just go out and do it.
Yeah,
Why wait? Just do it. That's the motto of web series is don't wait, create. And I
yeah.
feel like that as Aussies, that's what we do. It's certainly what I've always lived by.
And there's been some really fabulous podcasts that I listened to when I was there, and some fabulous web series as well. And I just watched an American series on Peacock that was based on an Australian series. I don't know if you know the show Laid.
Yes. Yeah.
They just adapted it to the U.S. And
Ah,
the actress who plays the main character is Stephanie Chu from Everything Everywhere All at Once and
yeah.
other things, but that's where she's from. It was a lot of fun, and I can see how it would be less shocking on an Australian TV station. I think because I don't think you all are as much prudes as we are when it comes to sex and all. So
Oh, it depends on the day, really, and the political party in
on television, at least. So
yeah. Yeah, but again, I think we're doing that. So, I think we're in the process of doing that. So I think conservatism is going to pop back up on our television screens.
that's wonderful for all of us. It's very tragic. So, I don't know what's going to happen in the coming days, but in our last 3 minutes, not to get depressing or anything,
Let's talk happy things. Yeah.
what exciting things do we have to look forward to from you, Wayne? Besides your next podcast with Moose on a Highway, and besides your next web series, what other projects do you have in the pipeline?
I'm going to write another feature film screen. Oh, actually, my feature film is probably coming out this year. So
Oh,
I
that's
directed a feature
amazing!
film based on a play I did called According to Otto. It is a gay coming out story. And yeah, so it's currently being shopped to film festivals around the world at the moment. And it's just a really happy, fun piece. I wanted to make something that's just colorful and zany and fun. And yeah, it's just a lighthearted look at a boy who comes out of the closet and is in love with his best friend and trying to find a way to find out whether his best friend loves him back.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
I play his very accepting dad, probably overly accepting dad, which is, at the age I get a lot of dad roles. I wrote
Well,
myself a lot of dad roles.
so you're playing the father we all wish we had when we came out. So
That's exactly, and that's that's part of the process as well. I feel like I'm healing my inner child with every piece of work that I do.
that's the only way to do it, I think. Sometimes, I always say I like to create the world that I want to live in, even if it's full of horror. I'd rather live in that world than the horrors that sometimes we have. So, I can't wait to see it. Then, are you shopping to any U.S. festivals or?
Yes, yeah, no, it's already been accepted into a few. So
Oh, great, great. Which,
I'm not allowed to announce yet.
oh my goodness. Okay.
But I
Well,
have heard from the distributor that it has been, yeah. So we have a distribution deal in process. So we should get some
oh, even
streaming.
better.
Yeah, we should get some streaming available very soon. So watch this space.
I will have
According
to
to
keep an
Otto.
eye out, and I'll have to talk to you about distribution too, because I'm in the U.S. It's very convoluted and lots of companies you don't trust. So I'd be
Well,
curious to see.
well, we had an Australian film distribution company that helped us finish the film, and then they have sold it on to a British distribution company. So yeah,
But again, still better than the U.S. distribution
yeah.
companies. Well, Wayne, I am so glad that you could be here. I know it's very, very, very different time for you than it is for me, so I appreciate that you are able to make the time to be on the show with me tonight. Or
Yes, about to hit midday. I've got to get myself my midday coffee and some lunch. Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. You're off to have lunch now. I'm off to get ready for bed, and it'll be fabulous. And I will see you on Saturday morning for you.
As we record Moose on a Highway, which is, yeah, you and I are very fun characters. Yeah.
We are. We have a delightful pair of characters that I can't wait for everybody to hear, and I can't wait to read, do these scripts, and then do the rest of the scripts. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Going to be great.
All right. Everyone else, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me on SideKick Power Hour, everybody. I hope that you have a happy, safe, and healthy week. And I will see you all next Monday, where my guest is from the UK, I think. So, surprise, and we'll see you then. Ta-ta for now.
And that's the tea.